guys, and welcome to Little Upper Learning. So it's a very busy time in the year. If you're in the States or in the UK or Europe, I know that you're about to start the school year, and in Australia we're in term 3, so we're sort of in the midst of things, and a lot of people have whole school events, so it's pretty flat out. I've been very busy and haven't been able to make as many videos as I'd like, but hoping I can get back on track with that. So today I thought that I would discuss something we've been trying out in our classrooms, one of the reasons I've been so busy, and that is introducing bilingual classrooms. In order to be able to teach and introduce a bilingual classroom, you do need to have some sort of background in another language. However, I don't feel like it really needs to be at a qualification level. It could be that you're really familiar with the language because you speak it at home. So the best thing about this is you can introduce a language slowly and just use your skill level, especially if you're teaching in a primary setting or an elementary school setting is when I think this is would most be effective. And just introduce the language a little bit at a time, and it's sort of, you can refresh yourself and your own knowledge as you go. So it's a really great way at the start of the year when you're bringing in lots of new things to be able to bring this into. The first thing that I would recommend doing when you're setting up your classroom to be bilingual is to include as much labeling as you can. So in my classroom, you might have seen on my Instagram, and I will post more pictures up there of this, I have everything in my classroom labelled in both English and Italian. So the kids know where to find things, and if I give them a direction to go and get something and I use the Italian word, they can just look at the picture and the word and try and figure it out. So I'm not constantly telling them what words mean. And that's just the first step. It can really include a lot of incidental learning, and the kids just seem to really enjoy it, and I'm amazed at how much they've embraced this. So your first thing to do, and especially if you're just setting up your classroom for the year now, this is the perfect time to do it, is to include lots of labels around your class in that other language. Now, I made quite a few of my labels just because I wanted them to be particular in my classroom. However, you can also get labels online on sites like Twinkle, or I've seen them on other sites as well. So just have a hunt around and make them if you really need to, if we want them to be particular to your own classroom. The next thing that I would really recommend is to start including morning greetings and your end of the day routine and all those little routines that you have. Start doing those in your other language. You can start off in the smallest way. When I started introducing this concept, I just did the role in Italian. So I would say buongiorno classe, and as I would go through each class, each child, ask them come stai and teach them some different responses. So encouraging them to have a go. And it's all just about having a go. It doesn't matter if they don't get it completely correct. It's just building up their confidence and letting them have a go using that spoken language. So it's a really easy thing to do. And as you become more confident with it yourself, if you don't have a lot of experience teaching another language, you will see that there's so many ways you can integrate it in. So the first thing I did was starting off with a morning routine and my end of day routine, and making sure that I was just using it in small ways to introduce the children to the words and the sound of the language. And now, having done it for a few months, I'm at a point where they're all responding in the other language, even those really shy students who might not be as confident. And the weird thing is, sometimes it's those kids that, I've got one child in my class who isn't super confident with replying to other things. So if we're having other whole class discussions, he doesn't feel as confident. But in the context of Italian, he will reply in Italian and really be willing to have a go. And he doesn't have an Italian background as a family background. So it's really exciting that we're sort of seeing this progression. So you can really get to know your kids in different ways by using this method. Once you've got your morning routine sort of sorted out and you feel like the kids are into that routine of having, saying greetings in the morning and also at the end of the day, your next step can be to start introducing some key phrases that they can use and key directions that you can use as a teacher, which will be integrated during the day. So one of the first things I did was to teach the kids to ask how to go to the bathroom in Italian. And I had it written up on the board, so it wasn't like I was just expecting them to remember it, because they are grade 1s and 2s, so they're quite young. And they caught on to this really quickly. They became a bit competitive about it, and competitive over who was able to remember the phrase. So that did wonders in a way. And after that, I just slowly, each couple of days, started introducing other phrases like go and get your bag, or go and get your book, saying you need your pencils, you need your scissors. And because the items were labelled around the classroom, they had a reference they could look at, and they would sort of half guess, and I would use lots of gesture. Gesture is really important with this. So making sure that you're using gesture as well to give them another clue of what it might be that you're saying, and being consistent with the gestures is important too. So the kids start to learn the gesture and linking it with the word, and also seeing it in the written form around your classroom. And if you've got young kids, I think you'll be really surprised how well this works. And I think even if you had kids at home and you were wanting to introduce it at home, you could probably use it in a similar way. So that's the next step, and you can just build on it slowly. And now we're at a point where I'd say probably 40% of what the language that I use in the classroom, spoken language, is probably in Italian. So it's a big jump when it's only been happening for a few months. Something else that I did, which you might like to try as well if you want to start up with this method, is to survey the kids and find out exactly what they wanted to do, so that the learning is child-directed. Some of them had a fairly good base of the language from experience they had at home and other years when they'd been taught languages in different ways. So I got them to brainstorm as a whole class different things they wanted to do. So they really wanted to have a whole lesson in Italian. So that was one of the things we did. We taught maths in Italian, which was great because we could integrate numbers and it was quite consistent, so they love that. Another thing that they wanted to come up with is using more written Italian, so that's something we're starting off with. But by letting them have a say in it, it helps them to maintain the enthusiasm. And if you've got some who are a little bit hesitant, you can see exactly where they're at with feeling comfortable with trying another language. So I gave myself a personal goal, and I told them that. I said to them, my goal is to give you all your directions in Italian. And then they came up with their own goals as well. So by creating that brainstorm together, I feel like it sort of enhances that cross-community and lets them see that, you're giving yourself a challenge too. It's not all, the onus isn't all on them. So that is something that has been really valuable and is great to give a go as well. So after your kids have been able to come up with a brainstorm of what they want to do, you can start integrating the language into other lessons. So just like you would give the directions for going to get your book or going to get a pencil, you can start giving directions as you would when you normally teach a lesson. So we've started off with maths, and we've now started to work it into inquiry and science, and also into reading and writing as well. So it's amazing how much you can see that the languages can just cross over into all areas. Once you start doing it, it becomes easier. And I think that's the key learning I've had as a teacher from this, that the more I start to do it, the more it just naturally happens. So that the kids feel like this is just a part of their classroom now, as well as having the labels, I've also included a daily schedule that's in Italian. So I used the same pictures as we'd had on our previous schedule, and so they were familiar with what the pictures meant, and now I just have each subject area for the day written in Italian. So the kids are amazing at it now. They will set up the daily schedule in Italian, and now instead of me writing the date on in English and Italian, they'll also write the date and the day of the week that it is in Italian as well, which I'm just gobsmacked by because it's only really been a couple of months. So I think the more you do it, the more you'll see them take it on board too. And I'd be really interested if you are giving this a go in your classroom, or if you're somebody who already teaches this way. I'd love to hear your feedback of whether this has happened in your class too, because it's just been amazing as a teacher to see. So if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to comment below if you've got any questions at all about introducing a bilingual classroom at your school, or even if you've had different experiences and want to share them. I'd love to hear your feedback. Don't forget to subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and I'm looking forward to bringing out more videos to you about teaching and also about home learning as well. So have an awesome week. It's a crazy time of year, and make sure you give yourself a little bit of time for some R&R, and I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Bye.